Good afternoon, or should I say good evening? It's coming to 5 o'clock. Why did you go swimming? I did. But I'm stupid. I bought slices of Bob's. Fucking hungry, man. Yeah. I ran out of money. I only have enough money for tomorrow for a pack of smokes, but I have like 4 bags of cans, so that's enough for me for like 3 more days of getting smokes until I get paid on Thursday. My government check out of my $80, I get paid from the government, right? Yeah. Why do you think you're wearing a mask exposed in the CFL? No, it's the truth, man. What the CFL is doing is cold to the Canadian players, people of their own country. It's cold, man. What they're doing, it's fucking cold. There you go. But at the same time, you do need to give the American players in the States who didn't get their NFL opportunities. So, like, I understand that. I get that. Like, I get it, but like, what about the Canadian players? All right, we're so good of an opportunity to play football. Yeah, you are, but like, there's barely any star players in your league CFL. There you go. Most star players are the American players, and all your star players are mostly the linemen in your league CFL. So all the linemen last week is good. You still love the CFL with American players? Yeah, I do. I still love the CFL, but it's annoying when they always like, I don't know, Milt Steele and all these guys. They always talk about how great all these American players are in the CFL. Barely any Canadian players. All they talk about is the American players. I'm like, man, it'd be nice for them to be some more Canadian stars in this league. Because the CFL is trying to be the NFL of Canada, man. That's why they bring all the American guys. Duh. They've been doing that for decades. I don't know. They bring all the American guys who didn't get their opportunity. So they want to almost go to the NFL, yeah. Okay, the NFL takes all the best players in America. Let's take the leftovers from the NFL didn't take, and let's bring them up here, and that way it's almost as good as the NFL. And that's how we hopefully we grow the league, and it's huge. I get that CFL, but the best players in the NFL are all American guys from America. The people who watch NFL in America can relate to those guys. They're American. The Americans you bring up here, the CFL are not. They're not Canadian people. They're American people. They're people from different countries. So that's why I believe it's a bad business strategy. But I mean, the CFL disagrees with me, obviously. Some Sarah? Emma. The CFL's blind by American talent, yes. Okay, the NFL is the most popular sport league in America, and the players playing that league are so good. That's why the fans in America love the game, love the game so much. If we bring the leftovers up here in Canada, hopefully it can grow and it's huge in Canada. But what the CFL doesn't realize what they're doing, yeah, they may be talented CFL, the American players, and maybe get an opportunity. When they come to Canada, they're what? They're unknown to the Canadian people. Whereas the American players drafting in the NFL are known to the American people. They're American, and the team to play the fans when they got drafted, they saw some of them in college. They can relate to them more. They're American. The American guys you bring up here, the leftovers, they may be very talented, but they're unknowns to the Canadian people. That's what the CFL's blinded by. They're blinded by the American talent, regardless if they're unknowns to the Canadian people. Guys can say, "Oh yeah, I should sing out." Yeah. It's almost as if the axe was right in front of their eyes, like the whole time. Like, yeah, we've been bringing all these American guys for years. The league has been no growth. I think the axe is right in front of you. No, like the CFL is a Canadian football league. You should be marketing the Canadian product, not the American product. It might not make a difference, right? I could be wrong. Maybe it doesn't even make a difference, obviously. Because it doesn't make a difference either way, right? Yeah. That's my answer, my other answer. It doesn't make a difference, obviously. I mean, how do you think the league builds popularity? Because right now, the CFL is struggling to attract fans for their social media and everything. So, how you build the league is you have a bunch of star quarterbacks, you build buzz, and that's how the league grows, obviously. And Nathan Rook is pretty much the face of CFL. I told you, because the CFL is not a big league, he's not even close to being as famous as like the star NHL athletes. It's not even close, man. There's a huge gap in popularity between the Canadian football players and the Canadian hockey players, right? But Nathan Rook is the most famous quarterback in the CFL. He's Canadian, yeah. He's Canadian, obviously. He's Canadian. I guarantee you all the Canadians and all the Canadian football fans in the country are rooting for Nathan Rook. Yeah, it'd be nice for Nathan Rook to take a seat with the Grey Cup. But it's tough because the BC Lions are third place in the West. Where Saskatchewan Roughriders already, and Hamilton Tigers already clinched the playoff berth, but not the division title yet, though. But Hamilton Tigers are the best team in the East right now, and Saskatchewan's the best team in the West right now, obviously. Why would you think it'll be an overnight success? No. It takes time. After maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years, it grows in popularity, gets more popular. It takes time to win the fans, the Canadian fans, to love football, obviously. You build it in 10 years, it gets more popular. Yeah. All right, man, you're crazy, man. You want to get rid of the American talent, man. The quality will dip. Yeah, the quality will dip a little bit by a little bit. So maybe the best way of growing the CFL is with the American. Now I disagree, but I mean, they're seeing minimal growth, so obviously it's not working out. So, yeah. So the CFL envies the NFL's talent. Yeah, the CFL they envy the NFL's talent. Yeah, why is the NFL so popular in the states? Because the athletes are so amazing. The athletes who are the leftovers from there, let's take some of those guys and have them be the stars up here, and hopefully this league becomes huge. But what they don't understand is that yeah, even though the Americans playing the NFL are the amazing players, the best football players in the world, they're American, and the fans in America know about these guys. They're known talent in the NFL. Whereas the leftover Americans that you bring up to Canada CFL are unknown talent to the Canadian people. So it's a bit. That's why I don't think it's a good business strategy. You should focus on your own home. You should focus on your own country's talent instead of the talent in the states. Like they're not from here CFL. They're from the states, man. They're not Canadians. Those guys. They're American. Oh. So CFL envies the NFL talent. Of course they do. Yeah. They envy the fact that the Americans are a bit better than their Canadians. Yeah, the Canadian players are amazing athletes, but they're not like the American players. Let's bring those guys here and have them be stars. That's why they do that. They put on better quality football because they want to be like the NFL instead of trying to be the CFL of Canada. I mean, yeah. Well, if you're lying, they're not trying to be the NFL of Canada. Yes, they are. As they Americanize even the Canadian rules for crying out loud. And Nathan Rourke was pissed off about that. Yeah. That's how you know. The CFL, they Americanize the Canadian football. As most of their star players are American players, and now they're also Americanizing the rules too. And that's how you know they're trying to beat the NFL of Canada, obviously. Yeah. That was good. That was really good pizza. Yeah, we're trying to be the NFL of Canada, and that's funny. I know. Trying to be the NFL of Canada. CFL. Yeah. Trying to be the NFL of Canada. Like they put the Canadian the Canadian Football League obviously to represent like Canada and football in Canada, but I mean it's Americanized, right? Most of the star players are American players, and they're also changing the rules to fit more like the NFL. I'm like CFL, what are you doing? Like, why are you trying to be the NFL of Canada? Just focus on being the CFL of Canada. Forget about the NFL. People in the States don't care about our CFL. Why are you so caught up with what's going on in the NFL? Forget about the NFL. Try to be the CFL of Canada. Forget about the NFL. They go to hands. Yeah. You're never going to be the NFL. CFL. You're never going to be the NFL. Stop trying to be the NFL. There you go. You believe the league can grow? I believe if they market the heck out of the Canadian product, it can grow to a $450 million a year business in 10, 12 years. Yeah, I believe that, but I mean, or maybe it won't make a difference. But I believe if they really market the franchise Canadian quarterbacks, it could be huge in 10 years. It could be a $450 million, $500 million a year business, man. It'll never be the NFL or the NHL, but it could be a big business in Canada, obviously. A big pro football league in Canada, obviously. The CFL is a pretty big pro league. It is a big pro league. Like, it pulls in, like, I don't know, 240, 250 million a year in revenue. So if a business makes $2 million a year in revenue, that's a lot of money. But it's not like when you compare it to the NHL and the NFL, it's a small, tiny league. That's my point. That's why it's not the CFL is not one of the big four. But it's not pulling in its place. No, it's pulling in like 200, 240 million around there a year in revenue. And they're trying, yeah, we want to grow this thing out to maybe 400 million. Yeah. And you're struggling with growth. So obviously somebody's not working your league CFL. Yeah. That's my answer. But if the CFL can grow by 15 million a year and increase revenue, in 10 years the league will now be doing 400 million in revenue. 400 million in revenue, which is good. So hopefully the league can grow, have a minimal growth of maybe 15 million a year. And in 10 years it makes 450 million dollars. $400 million. I'm saying the players can get paid more, obviously, in the CFL. Yeah. Do you think it'll grow to $400 in 10 years? Nah, maybe 300, maybe 30 million around there. I see it growing in 10 years, but maybe not 400. Maybe it might hit 400 in 10 years. I don't know. Perhaps we'll see what happens, obviously, right? Oh, yeah. We'll see what happens, obviously. Because I really want the CFL to succeed. I want it to be in a financial healthy position like the NFL, the NHL, and the MLB and the NBA. It will never be the big four, but it would be nice for the CFL to be pulling in $450, $500 a year revenue, and the star players can get paid more money, obviously. So, Sarah? Yeah, that's my point, right? Yeah. That's my point. I agree, geez, I know. Or it doesn't make a difference, right? It won't. It might not even make a difference if you promote the Canadian product, the quarterbacks, because they might not just be that big of a market for football in Canada. That's my answer. My other answer. It's all about hockey up here. Hockey, right? Yeah, Canada fans love hockey up here. It's all about hockey, right? Football is America's sport. Hockey is Canada's sport. That's why hockey's so popular up here. All they talk about is hockey, man, on TSN and Sportsnet and all that stuff. All hockey. Yeah. Yeah. I just thought that pro hockey league not nice. My dream isn't playing hockey. The hockey thing is risky because if I train, what if I train and I put on a show on TV, but I'm a horrible player? It's risky. Whereas acting, I don't have to worry about that, right? Acting, I steal the show and I make way more money than you be a pro hockey player. That's why I'm a success guys will reach you. That's my dream, obviously. Besides, guys will reach you. That's my dream. That's my dream, Samsara. We're gonna watch out this. I'm gonna watch this, and after I watch my show, I'm gonna watch maybe Brian Lee Durfee. Some Brian Lee Durfee, maybe I'll watch. Or I might watch, I don't know, John Campia. Watch a John Campia show, then I'll go to bed around 10, 11. I'm gonna go to bed. Yeah. I mean, does your younger brother like NFL better than CFL? And he likes NFL better than CFL. He likes NFL and NBA second and CFL third for my younger brother. Yeah. You like the CFL more or the NFL? The NFL's better. I can't deny, man. It's more entertaining. It's better. It's better quality football. The players there are so good. The CFL is amazing football too. But it's not the NFL, right? But the CFL is a more funner experience when you watch it. It's like it has more of that fun feel when you watch the CFL. Whereas NFL is not as fun, but it's more quality and it's still more entertaining. That's what I'm saying. There's a reason why it's not the number one pro sport team in North America. Because the NFL is the big dog, right? It's the big giant, obviously. But I am surprised a lot of people in Canada do not like just are not that resonating with Canadian football. The CFL games are very, very entertaining games, very high end quality games, and yet the CFL struggling to attract the fans and the Canadian people. Two reasons: either the fans of Canada just don't really care that much about Canadian football, or they don't really resonate with those American star players that the CFL brings up here. That's my other answer. Yeah, that was about two answers. Obviously. Yeah, right. We do have a few Canadian stars. Yes, you do CFL, but you have very few. And most of your star players are the linemen who don't really. Linemen don't really shine in a game. They're not skilled positions. They're kind of like linemen don't really shine in games. They're non-skilled positions, obviously. Linemen. There's a reason why no one talks about legendary linemen because it's a non-skilled position. No one really talks about the linemen. You ever see Skip Bayless and Shannon and all these guys talking about the greatest alignment in the league? They don't talk about it. They talk about the quarterbacks, the receivers, the running backs, the linebackers. That's who they talk about. Those are skilled positions. Alignment is a non-skilled position. That's why they're very valuable to the Canadian CFL scouts because it's the least risky of all the positions. That's why they're so valuable to the CFL scouts. The alignment. If you're an amazing alignment in the CIS, chances are you can be a first round pick, man. And you might get your opportunity to start as an alignment. Either you start or you'll get a lot of reps in your career. You'll have a not bad, pretty good career as a Canadian alignment. Whereas the other positions, chances are you're not going to get your opportunity to shine. If you're a receiver, you might have a better opportunity to shine as a receiver, but chances are you're not going to get your opportunity to shine if you're in a skill position in the CFL. It's all the American guys who shine in the CFL. That's how it works. Well, yeah, that's how it works, obviously, right? That's how it works, obviously, yeah. That's how it works. Sarah? That's how it works. Joy to show you guys with my beer. Yeah. 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 Ivy, can you think of anywhere of growing the league, of fixing the league's growth struggles with the American talent? No. I don't have an answer for that. With a Canadian product, I have an answer, but for the American product, I don't have an answer because the CFL has been bringing up American guys to the league to be stars for decades, and they've been seeing minimal growth. So obviously, there isn't a huge demand for the American talent in the CFL. That I know, but the Canadian talent can also be a similar outcome. It might not make a difference either way, but I believe the only solution is obviously marketing the Canadian homegrown talent to the Canadian people, especially specifically the franchise quarterbacks. That's the key, but or it might not make a difference. Obviously, that's my answer. Yeah. Either fans of Canada just don't care that much about Canadian football, which is true. They don't care about that much in Canada, or there is a little bit of a bigger demand and market for it, but it's with the Canadian talent, not the American talent. When I mean Canadian talent, I mean all the star players, all these Canadian players, all the franchise players are all like these franchise Canadian quarterbacks. You market them on TSN, you do nationwide commercials, you do a nationwide press conference on TSN about the change.
CFL's on Canada, witness homegrown talent, best players in Canada, compete for the Grey Cup. You put a big order of the star franchise quarterbacks in front of each stadium before each game. You market at the CIH universities, and that's how you get the word out. That could perhaps double your revenue in 10 years, or it doesn't make a difference. That's my other answer. It won't make a difference, honestly. It doesn't make a difference. I'm sorry. I told you, for the CIS football games, thousands of students from that university go to the games to watch their team play. And all the star players in that team, they know, a lot of people in the university know about that player. They know about all the star players. The star players mainly, right? They know mainly all the star players who were eligible for the draft. And if they know that these guys are not franchise players, especially the quarterbacks, more people will go to the game. Well, the CFL doesn't have to worry about the game attendance. The game, we know they'll come to the games. It's the television ratings we're worried about. Yeah, but guys, man, if a bunch of fans are willing to come to your games to watch these Canadian pro athletes play in your CFL, what makes you think the rest of Canada will be interested? Some other people in Canada will be interested. I guarantee you more people in Canada will be interested. Maybe another 300,000 people in Canada will tune into the games. You could double your viewership from 500,000 to 1 million people watching, and that's how you grow it. It would never be the NFL. The NFL averages like 16 million people watching each NFL game. That's crazy. CFL will never hit that, but it could hit maybe 2.53 million people watching in 10 years. If they just market everything right. It's never going to happen. CFL's never going to do that. We're never going to do that. I know it's never going to happen. Never going to happen, honestly. But I found the one key. I found the one key to really boosting the league's revenue. I told you guys in my first video about fixing it. I'll tell. Okay, I want you CFL. I know you think this is crazy, Ivan. What I want you to contact the NFL. I want to do Team Canada versus Team USA. The best players in America playing the NFL were the best players in Canada playing them. I want to do a 5-game series, or like a 7-game series, a 5-game series, and they play the best NFL players play our best Canadian CFL players in Canada and air it on TSN, and that builds buzz, and that's how your league can be huge in 10 years. And they're like, Ivan, are you crazy? They're gonna wipe the floor with us. Yes, they will. Even if they do wipe the floor with us, at least we got the word out there about, oh my God, these Canadian players, the best CFL Canadian players are playing the best American players in the NFL. That's how you build buzz for the game. Obviously. Samsara. Yeah. They'll be like, Ivan, like, you want us to contact the NFL? Yeah, do that. Team Canada versus Team USA, and put them through training and conditioning. Ivan, are you crazy, bro? They're gonna wipe the floor with us. Yeah, they might beat us pretty bad, but at least that's how you get the word out there, guys. And that's how these Canadian players become more famous. I know I'm doing it. You're a genius. I know I'm a genius. The NFL will be like, yeah, Ivan, we'll gladly have our best all-star players in the NFL play your best Canadian players in the CFL. Good luck, Ivan. They would tell the CFL, good luck. Yeah, they wiped the floor with us pretty bad. Beat us pretty bad, man. Ivan, we can do that with the American players in the CFL. I'm like, nah, man. If you do that, it won't be as interesting because these guys they're not Canadian, man. They're American players who knock their ball to you. No. The best Canadian players versus the best American players in the NFL. That's how it works. And I'm saying they're Ivan, man. They're gonna wipe the floor with us. Yeah, they might beat us. I don't know, maybe 60 to 18 or something, 60 to 20. But at least we marketed the Canadian product, and that's how they become more famous in Canada. Obviously. Yeah. And guys, don't underestimate the Canadian talent, man. Our Team Canada beat Team USA. Don't forget that, right? Yeah, our Team Canada beat your Team USA. Yeah, and Japan beat your Team USA too, guys. These are the best players in Canada, U18. They beat your Team USA. I'm not lying. I saw the game. The first time my older stepbrother played, Team USA killed Team Canada like 41-3. They destroyed them. And 3 years later, our Team Canada beat Team USA pretty bad. It was like 41 like 23. We beat them. But I told you, if the best players in the NFL played the best players in Canada and the CFL, they'd beat us pretty bad, man. It'd probably be maybe, I don't know, a 16, maybe 21 game. Or the Canadian players can hold their own with them, but they can't. They won't be able to beat them. They have the advantage. The best players in the NFL are fucking amazing players, man. Yeah, man. But don't underestimate the Canadian talent. I keep saying that. The league will tell me, Ivan, man, like, you want us to get him. Remember how that guy, we don't get embarrassed. And if the Canadians did upset the NFL All-Star games, that's the biggest sport upset in history, even bigger than even the Soviets back in 1980. Obviously, because the Soviets were the greatest hockey team in the world for like 20 years, and these college kids beat them. If the Canadians were ever to have a chance of beating them, obviously, that'd be the biggest sport upset in history, and that's how you build buzz for the Canadian players, and they become more famous in Canada. That's how you draw people to the Canadian players. Yes, I'm your genius. That's your business strategy. Yes, I'm your genius. All right, man, you're crazy, man. They're gonna wipe the floor with us. I know, but even if they wipe the floor with us, I don't know, 60-20 or something like that. At least what? You got to market the Canadian players and play in the CFL. You got some saying? Yeah. That's how it works, right? Don't you? I'm saying, yeah. Do that. That's the real key. It's that game. So Ivan, you want us to contact the NFL and have their best All-Star players play our best All-Star Canadian players? Yes, do that. They're like, okay, and Ivan, man, the NFL's gonna laugh at us, man. They're gonna think we're crazy. Guys, do it. This is how we build the Canadian brand and the Canadian football league. This is how these Canadian football players become more famous. Millions of people will be tuning into that TSN game. I want the game in Canada. And we air it on TSN because we need to focus on the Canadian people. The American people don't care about the CFL. If they did do that game in America, a lot of people in America would tune in. But after that game's over with, the Americans will just go back to watching NFL. They don't care about the CFL. You have to bring the game to Canada and air it on TSN. Do a 5-game series, Team Canada versus Team USA. All-Stars in the CFL versus All-Stars in the NFL. Okay, I'm just saying, man, they're going to wipe the floor with us. Yeah, do it. That way you market the Canadian players more. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you build your league. I'm a genius. I know. I'm a genius, obviously. A genius, yeah. I'm saying, you're a genius. I know. A genius. A genius. Why, do you think the Canadians will have a chance with the NFL All-Stars? No. They might be able to hold their own a little bit, but they get destroyed, man, pretty bad, man. I don't know, like 60. It'd be like maybe a 60-20, 22 game. They get beat pretty bad, 55-18 game or something like that. Why? Can the Canadian team score on the best NFL All-Stars? Of course they can. They're amazing players too, but beating them, no. Unless they have a bad day like the Soviets obviously did when they played the U.S. team. And you mark it out on TSN, guys. Team Canada, the best Canadian players in Canada versus the best American players in the NFL. That builds buzz, and millions of people in Canada will be tuning into that. And that's how you build buzz. That's how you market the Canadian players more in the CFL. Become more famous. You're a genius, I know. I mean, how do you do it, man? You know how to blow our minds away with your marketing strategy, because I have the gift, I have the wisdom of God. I know how to blow your minds away. I have the gift, yeah. I have the gift. Yeah. I knew NFL players respect the CFL players. No, they don't. They don't really respect the CFL that much because they know it's filled with American players who did not make the NFL, so they look down on CFL. But I'm talking to NFL players, man. Our CFL is almost as good as your NFL, right? It's almost as good as your NFL, right? It's not your NFL, but it's almost as good as your NFL. Don't hate me, saying, you know. Yeah. So if you want to do something like Miracle, yeah, do something like that, Miracle on Ice. The college players versus the best hockey team in the world at the time, and you have the best players in Canada versus the best players in America playing Team Canada versus Team USA. Do a 5 game series and air it on TSN in Canada for the Canadian people. Forget about the American people; they don't care about the CFL. We have to focus on growing the Canadian product in Canada. This is the big one. This is how you grow it. Contact the NFL, make it happen. They're like, well, okay, and yeah. So Ivan, man, the committee's all blown away. Ivan, man, you're a genius, man. You're the one commissioner that actually really convincing us that this thing could work. It could be huge in 10 years. Yeah, guys, do all that marketing that I told you to do when you have the best players in Canada, the CFL play the best players in America and the NFL, and you air it on TSN, and you have the panel talk about it. You know what I'm saying? You have the panel talk about it, and all the news people in the NFL will be talking about that too. Yeah, man, our NFL players are gonna wipe the floor of these Canadian players, and it builds buzz, and that's how your league goes. Robert, you're a genius, I know, and that's why if you do this, guys, in 10 years, this can be a $500 million revenue business, man. I don't be doing. Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna go upstairs and I make some coffee myself. I'll be back because I know him. So I'm gonna join my show. All right, guys. Well, I was just gonna make my coffee. Why do you think that's the real key? Yeah, the big one is that game. I'll tell the CFL. Yeah, I know I think I'm crazy. Contact the NFL. I want their best American players playing our best Canadian players. And they'll laugh me off as crazy, guys. Man, even if we get destroyed by the American, I don't know, the American, the NFL, I don't know, 60-20 or something like that. At least we marketed the Canadian products playing in the CFL, and that's how the league grows, and the players become more famous in Saturday games. And yeah, that's the key. Yes, that's the key.
Would the NFL agree? Yeah, they would. But they would think I'm crazy, Ivan. That you want our best all-star players playing. Your all-star players, okay, good luck. Yeah, they'll tell me that. Good luck, Ivan. Yeah. I want it taking place in Canada, guys. Why, Ivan? Because I'm trying to grow the CFL. I want the people in Canada to watch this. That's that way. These Canadian players have more eyes on them. They become more famous. As you guys already have, you're a big popular in America. I want the game taking place in Canada, aired on TSN. That's how it works. Call the NFL. I want a 5-game series, Team Canada versus Team USA. Okay, Ivan, you make it happen, and all the Canada's going crazy about it. That's how you build buzz for the name players. I'm your genius, I know. Oh, Hampson, yeah. We'll have crazy buzz. Oh yeah, you're looking at millions of people tuning into that game in Canada. And that's how you grow the game. And that's how these star Canadian players in the CFL become more famous and popular. Yeah. Can Nathan Rook stand a chance against, I don't know, Patrick Mahomes? I'm saying that it builds buzz. Speaking of that year, yeah. That's how you market it. The Canadian people. I do genius, I know. But the CFL can be laughed at. I've been. If you do that, we're gonna get embarrassed on television. Look, man. Even if we get destroyed on television, at least we got to market the Canadian athletes playing in the CFL. It's a genius business. That's genius, I know. So, yeah, right. We can do that with the CFL with the American guys. Now, if you do it with the American guys, no one would really care that much because these guys are what? They're American. They're not really Canadian. They're not Canadian players. So, yeah, they're not really Canadian players. Sometimes they're American players. Yeah. Get my coffee, guys. You should be seeing the guys. I'm too big for the league. I'm worth more than your whole league, man. I'm even worth more than the NFL, man. That's how big I am. I'm bigger than none of these sports can afford me, man. I'm too big for the league. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. I'm saying, yeah. Too big for all those leagues. Worth more than all those leagues, right? Yeah. Too big for those leagues. Son of God with the keys of it. CFL cannot afford me. As commissioners in the CFL make, I don't know, there was 700,000 a year, whatever it is, 800,000 a year they make the commissioners in the CFL. They can't afford me. I'm too big for the CFL, man. I gave you CFL some suggestions to grow the league, the brand, obviously. I recommend CFL because you're never gonna win. Because you're never gonna win. Nah, never mind. You know. Will that game have buzz? Oh, yeah, even people in America will be talking about it. They'll all be saying, "Oh my god, like the CFL's crazy, man. They actually want to play our best like all-star NFL players. We're gonna destroy these guys."
and all the CFL coaches would coach the shit out of the Canadian guys, and like they would do what Herb Brooks did with the Soviets. The game would be like the USA versus Soviets pretty much. Nobody can beat the Soviets. Yeah, nobody can beat the All-Star NFL team. They're the best football players in the world, man. Just like the Soviets were the greatest hockey team in the world at the time in 1980, and Team USA beat them, and it was the most biggest sport upset in history. Right now. Yeah, that's how you build buzz for the CFL and especially the Canadian star players, and that's how they become more famous and your league grows. Ivan, you're a genius, but that man, he wants to call the NFL. Yeah, do that. Okay, I'm just saying, Ivan. Like, we don't want to get embarrassed on television. Look, man, do it. This is how we grow the league substantially in 10 years. Do it. Sarah. And the NFL would be, we're more than happy to have our best guys play your best guys. I'm saying, and like, good luck, Ivan. Yeah, they'll tell me good luck. Obviously. But the Canadian All-Star players will be so focused, like the USA players were in Miracle when they play the players. They'd be like focused. Remember the movie Miracle when Herb Brooks gave that speech? They're all focused and like this is their time. You know what I'm saying? He's like, if we play them 10 times, they might beat us 9, but not tonight. You know what I'm saying? And you pump them up, and Herb Brooks pumped them up, and they beat the Soviets. Yeah. But the best Canadian players in Canada don't stand a chance against the All-Star players in the NFL. It'd be a slaughterhouse. It'd be a slaughter, yeah. Like 63-20 or something like that, 63-18. It'd be pretty bad, man. Yeah. But do not underestimate the Canadian talent, man. Our Team Canada beat your Team USA, guys. I'm not lying. We beat your Team USA, don't we, Hamson? Yeah. I'm sorry. And you want televised on TSN? Yes. Televised on TSN. Where do you want the game to take place? BC, Vancouver, British Columbia, the Lions Field. Have it take place there. That's a beautiful stadium. It can fit like 40,000 people. Have it take place there. And you got to really market that game. Yeah, I will market it. And that way, when you build buzz, for people in Canada, and we market the Canadian players more. Yeah, that's how they become more famous, guys. That's how the Canadian athletes become more famous, by having that big event. A lot of people in Canada, a few million people in Canada, will be tuning into that, man. Even the NHL hockey players probably will be tuning into that game. Yeah, I want to see our best Canadians play these NFL guys. They'll tune in, and that's how these players become more popular, and that's how the league grows. So, Sarah, you're a genius, I know. That would be my business strategy if I was CFL commissioner. I would want to sell and be CFL commissioner, guys. I'm not going to have the gatekeepers do like that, man. The CFL can't afford me. Like $700K is peanuts compared to my worth. I'm worth way more than that, man. CFL commissioners make like $700,000 a year around there. Like, I'm worth my billions. The CFL can't afford me. The NFL can't even afford me, man. I'm worth more than the whole fucking league. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. NFL's worth about $50 million. I'm going to make $25 billion on my book and like $80 billion, $100 billion on my movie merchant game. I'm even much bigger than the NFL, man. Even the NFL can't afford me. I'm even too big for the NFL. That's how big I am. How powerful I am. I'd be very powerful. Yes, I am. I'm even bigger than the NFL. The NFL can't afford me either. They can't afford me. I'm too big for the NFL. Yeah. Too big for the NFL. Too big for all the sport leagues in the world. I'm sorry? Yeah. I gave you CFL suggestions, obviously, right? I gave you CFL suggestions, obviously. The CFL committee laughed you off. You told them that they were, Ivan, you're crazy, man. We're going to get destroyed. Look, man, even if we get destroyed, at least we got to market the Canadian star players to the people of Canada. That's how they become more famous and more popular. What I'm doing. Samsara. So I mean, if that game took place, it'd be the biggest sporting event in history. Millions of people can't be tuned into that, and even people in America will the NFL will probably say, "Yeah, we want to air it in America too." A lot of millions of people in America will be watching that game too. But I told you, the Americans will only be tuning in because they want to see their NFL All Star players. They don't care about the Canadian All Star players. That's why have the game take place here in Canada for the Canadian people. That's how you market the Canadian All Star players and become more famous. That's what I'm doing. Whereas the people in America, if they televise it there, they're only watching because they want to see how these Canadians do against the best All-Star NFL players. But they don't care after that game. They don't care about the CFL. Whereas the Canadians, that's what's important. That's why I want the game taking place in Canada, in Vancouver, British Columbia, 5-game series. Okay, Ivan, we can make it happen. Yeah, Ivan, man, you're a genius, man. This can actually work. I know, they could be so famous after that game. I know. Obviously, they can be famous as Canadian athletes, even if we get destroyed pretty bad. They can be famous after that. After that, obviously, right? Yeah, more famous than Canada. I don't do it. I'm a genius. Yeah. I do not underestimate the Canadian talent, guys. Our Team Canada beat Team USA. I'm not lying. Team USA killed our Team Canada 41-3. My older brother played. But 3 years after that, our Team Canada beat Team USA. They beat Team USA. U18, U20. Was it U20? No, it was U18. Our U18 Team Canada beat U18 Team USA, the best players in Canada who tried out, who beat Team USA. So do not underestimate the Canadian talent. I know we'll get destroyed, but at least you got to market the Canadian athletes. That's how you go to the league. You're a genius, I know. Genius. Sarah. That's my dream. My dream for the CFL is to see many franchise star Canadian quarterbacks and have all these star running backs, linebackers, corners, DBs, and D linemen, O linemen. It'd be nice to see that in the CFL, but it's never going to happen, man. That's my dream. It's a fantasy. It's never going to happen, man. CFL will never make that change because the American players put on more of a show on television. That's why they never make that change. But I've seen many CIS draft prospect highlights, and I don't really see that much of a difference with these American guys who come here, man. It's just they're almost as good. Not that much of a difference. A little bit of a difference in quality, but I mean, it's still amazing football. When I say American players, I'm talking about the American players who didn't get the NFL opportunity. There's not that much of a difference. Whereas the NFL athletes are the best of the best. You see a significant difference with the NFL guys. But with the guys who did not get the NFL opportunity, there's not that much of a difference here, you know it. They're a bit more athletic and they have the edge of talent, but I've seen many star Canadian receivers that are just as good as all these American guys in CFL. But the American guys look a little bit more athletic when they make plays. Yeah, even they put on more of a show, I know, but there's not that much of a difference, guys. Like a 5% different quality from the American guys who come up here with the Canadian guys. The best Canadian players in Canada. You know what I'm saying? That's my point. Yeah. You're a genius, I know. Never gonna happen though. I mean, how big will that event be? It'll be the biggest sporting event in history, even bigger than the Team USA versus the Soviets. There's hundreds, like tens of millions of people in America. Because they're going to ask me, Ivan, can we televise this in America? Yes, you can televise it in America. We're going to televise it on TSN for the Canadian people. You guys can televise it in America. And millions of people in America will be watching that game. But the Americans are only watching that game because they want to see the NFL also slaughter our best Canadian players. I wonder how these Canadians are going to do against our best NFL All Stars. And after the game's over, they're not going to care about these Canadian guys. They don't care about the CFL, the American guys. But the people in Canada, it's a different story. If these Canadian guys can hold their own against the NFL guys, which I don't think they can, they lose pretty bad. That's how you grow the league and these players become more famous. They'll now be more famous to the Canadian people, and that's how you grow the league. I heard, geez, I know. But geez, give me a second, guys. I'm gonna go upstairs to get my coffee. We gotta join my CFL show. Oh, hey, I'm sad. All right, guys, I'm back. You're cheesing, I know. So, Ivan, that's the real key, yes, guys. Even though marketing the Canadian quarterbacks and all stuff, what's really going to build buzz is knowing that the all-star players in the CFL are going to play the all-star players in the best players in Canada versus the best players in America. And that will build buzz in North America. It wasn't crazy. Millions of people in America will be watching that. Millions of people in Canada will tune into that too. Even the NHL players, the star players, will probably tune in. I want to watch that game. I want to see. I guarantee you, Sidney Crosby, Harvard, they will tune in that. I want to see how the Canadian guys do against the NFL guys. The best players in Canada versus the best players in America. Team Canada versus Team USA. And you have like a 5-game series. I think we get destroyed pretty bad, like 16 to 18 or something like that. But at least you got to market the Canadian players to the Canadian people. And that's how they become more famous, guys. And that's how you go live your cheese. And that excludes all the other stuff, all the marketing, the Prime Minister posting stuff. That excludes all that. This is like the real key, having that game take place. Okay, Ivan, so you want us to contact the NFL? Yeah, contact the NFL, make it happen. Okay, yeah. Yeah. But the NFL will tell me, the NFL will tell the CFL, yeah, we want to televise this too in the States. Okay, I want the game taking place in Canada. Obviously, a 5-game series. Our TSN provider, television provider, will air it in Canada, and you guys can bring your camera guys there, and then you guys can air it in the States for the Americans. Because Americans are going to want to watch it too, obviously. And you're looking at millions of eyes on that game, and it'll be the biggest sporting event in history, even bigger than Team USA versus Soviets, man. Something crazy, and that's how these Canadian athletes will become more popular. They'll be so popular that even some people in America will recognize these guys. The play-by-play guys will say their name and everything. You know what I'm saying? That's how they become more popular. That's how they become more famous. That's how we grow the league in Canada. Yeah, that's why you have to have it in Canada. It's all about the Canadian people. Forget about the American people. They don't care about the CFL. They're just tuning in because they want to see their NFL guys play. People in Canada is what's important, guys. That's why you have to have it take place in Canada. You're a genius, I know. I'm sorry? You're a genius, I know. I'm a genius, man. Yeah. So if that game took place, you have a similar situation with Team USA versus the Soviets. Everyone will say, yeah, man, these Canadian guys don't stand a chance against the NFL All-Stars. And you're looking at crazy buzz all over Canada and the States, something crazy, man. I hear a genius, man, I know. And that's the real key of really growing the business. I know, and these players become more popular. You want the players to become more popular? Yeah, this is what you got to do. Okay, you want us to call the NFL? Yeah, call the NFL, make it happen. Ivan, man, you're crazy, man. We're gonna get destroyed. Look, man, even if we get destroyed, at least we got to market the Canadian Football League to the more people in Canada, man. Market these star players. I know I'm doing. I hear genius. I know. And that's how you grow the league in 5 years. In 10 years, I don't know, 500 million out of your business. I know I'm doing. Sarah. He's alright, man. You have the wisdom of God. Yes, we have the wisdom of God. You're a genius, Ivan. I know, sweetie. VJ would be voting for the NFL players. VJ has an American bias, because I'll be voting for the Canadian players to win, even though they will not win. My hope, yeah, obviously. Yeah. Ivan, you want them to play the American game or the Canadian game? Well, the CFL is now Americanized. It doesn't really make a difference, right? No, we play the Canadian game in Canada, obviously. But I told you the CFL is Americanizing the Canadian game, as now the yards are only 100 yards, and they're putting the end zone at the back of the end zone. They're putting the goalpost at the back of the end zone instead of the front of the end zone. I'm sorry. All the GMs and coaches, Ivan, you're crazy, man. If you did that, you're looking at an embarrassment on TV. Look, man, even if we get killed, at least we got to market the Canadian players. That's how you grow the league. I know what I'm doing. All right, man. You like to take big risks. Yeah, a little bit of risk, high reward. I know what I'm doing, man. I'm sorry. But we get beat pretty bad, man. I would see maybe like a 60, maybe 18 game or something like that. 55-18 game. We get beat pretty bad, man. Yeah, man. Beat pretty bad. I'll tell you, but if you want us Canadians to have a better chance than these guys, you guys gotta really train and you guys gotta coach the heck out of them and motivate them like Herb Brooks did with the Soviets. Obviously. And I want you guys to do a documentary. I want you guys to film the behind the scenes of the Canadians play training and the media, the board meetings to build buzz about the game. Okay, do that. You want to do that, Ivan? Yeah, do that. Have TSN film that, and they you know what I'm saying, oh yeah, I will build buzz. Yeah, I'm your genius. I know I'm a genius. And the NFL will say, yes, yeah, I'm more than happy to play your best Canadian players. Good luck. Yeah, they'll tell me good luck. Yeah. Because they know their best players would destroy our best Canadian players. Yeah, man. Be's pretty bad, man. Yeah. Yeah. We can just do it with the American players. No, if you do it with the American players, no one really cares that much about team. It's not really Team Canada. They're NFL rejects guys. No one really cares that much about those guys. I don't hate them. It's just the truth. They don't care that much about guys. No, the best players in Canada, Team Canada versus Team USA, not this bullshit nonsense where it's Team Canada, but most of the star athletes are American players who didn't make the NFL. No, the best players in Canada versus the best players in America. That's truly Team Canada and truly Team USA. Not these NFL guys who didn't get their NFL opportunity to play. No, the best players in Canada versus the best players in America. That's not the worst on I'm saying, you know. Oh, this is a fucking dick, man. Well, man, you Americans put us Canadian players on. Yeah, we do, Ivan. And we come here, we're a bit better than you Canadian guys. Yes, you are, guys. But look, you guys have been putting on a show for years on television. The league's not growing well, so obviously it's not working out. I'm saying, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, though. Even though these guys playing up in the CFL did not get an NFL opportunity, they got cut, don't hate them, or they didn't get drafted. The guys who come here are fucking amazing athletes. They really are. Talking to you, CFL athletes, you guys really are amazing athletes. You really are. You put on a show, and yeah, I know you do. You put on a show, you're amazing athletes. But it's not fair that you guys get to shine up here and our Canadian draft picks don't get to shine. It's not fair. All right, we're more talented. Yeah, you are, but you're American. You don't have as much value up here in terms of market value compared to the Canadian players. You guys know it. You have more value in talent, but not market value. You're from a different country. No one knows who you guys are when you come up here. There you go. Don't hate him. Yeah. Will the Canadians be determined to beat them? Oh yeah. Even though the chances are very slim beating them, they'll be determined to beat them. And the coaches, the CFL coaches, will be pumping them up and everything like Herb Brooks did with Team USA versus Soviets. They'd be so determined, but they would get destroyed. Remember Herb Brooks said in the movie, if we played the Soviets 10 times, they might beat us. They might win 9, but not today. Not today. Not this night. Tonight is your time to shine. Yeah, that's what he told them, obviously. Yeah, and that's how you build buzz. And millions of people in Canada will tune into that. Even millions of people in America will tune into that game, man. Because the NFL will want to televise in America. Yeah, we want. Okay, our TSN guys will film it in Canada. You can bring your camera guys, and you can air it in the States for the people in the States to watch. And all of Canada and America is buzzing about that game, and that's how you build buzz. And that's how these Canadian players, football players, become more what? Famous and popular, and that's how you grow the league in 10 years. I hear geez, I know. That's the real key. The other marketing stuff is very important too, but the real key is that game. That's what's really going to market this league, guys. I know what I'm doing. Okay, Ivan, you want that done, Ivan, man? Like, you're the one commissioner that like convinced us this can actually work. I know, but it's risky, Ivan. Guys, it's not risky. Either it doesn't make a difference, or this thing can be huge in 10 years. It's up to you. You got to make a choice. Oh, Ivan, no, we can't do that. We can't do that, Ivan. Ivan, we can do the CFL versus the NFL. No team Canada, no team USA. The best all-star players in the CFL over the best all-star players in the NFL. Guys, that won't make a difference, man. These guys, all the all-star players in the CFL guys are all these American guys. So you have the best players in the NFL versus the players in the CFL who did not get an NFL opportunity. No one will really care that much about that game. Because these guys are, no offense, they're rejects from the NFL. No one really cares that much. And it's players in America from Canada playing players in America from the States. It's a bit weird. No, like the best players in Canada versus the best American players in the NFL. That's how it works, right? No names. And yeah. I'm sorry. I hear geez, I know. But geez. I'm sorry. Almost under, guys. That's how it works. So I'm sorry, how your G is, I know I'm a genius. That's how it works. Yeah. So, would you really do pitch that to the committee? Yeah, if I was CFO commissioner, everything I'm telling you guys right now on my channel, I would pitch that to the committee and go, "Oh my God, Ivan, this could actually work." They'd be convinced. They'll tell me, "Yeah, Ivan, you're the smartest commissioner we've ever interviewed, man. Like your business strategy might actually work. This thing could be huge in 10 years if we do this." Yes, but because they're blind, Ivan, we're not going to do that, man. Or we can do CFO versus NFL, but no Team Canada versus Team USA. guys, if you do that, it's not as interesting. It's just players in America from Canada, the best players in the CFL, who are rejects versus the best NFL players. Nah, man, like no. What builds more buzz is the best, greatest players in Canada versus the greatest players in America. Forget about these American guys. They're fucking what? Players who didn't get their opportunity. Forget about those guys. I am saying. Focus on the best players in Canada. So I'm saying that's what's going to build more buzz for people in Canada. People in Canada care way more about their Canadian homegrown talent than these American guys who didn't get their opportunity. You don't hate guys. I'm saying, yeah. So I'm saying, yeah. That's how you grow the league. You're a genius, I know. I'm sorry? Guys, if you do this, even though the marketing and all that stuff is key, the real key to really making this thing be big is the game, man. The game versus Team Canada versus Team USA. Best players in America versus best football players in Canada. And then you do a 5-game series. 5-game series, yeah, in Canada, in British Columbia, at the BC Lions Stadium. You do a 5-game series. And the whole stadium live, the whole thing will be packed. You guys will make your money, and TSN will make a lot of money. Looking at millions of people kind of watch that. Millions of people will be tuned into that, guaranteed. I guarantee even Sidney Crosby and Harmony will tune into that game. All the edge, like, yeah, if that ever happened, I'd watch that game. Yeah, they'd watch it too. And they'd be rooting for our Canadians because they have their bias, obviously. Best players in Canada versus best players in the States. Yeah. Obviously. So I'm sorry, and that's how. And then once you do that game, now a lot more people in Canada will know more about these all-star athletes in the CFL. They're more famous now to the Canadian people, and that's how you grow the league. The league grows and it grows in popularity. I know I'm doing. You're a genius. I know that's how it grows. So I'm sorry. That's how the league grows. You're a genius. I know, genius. That's how the league grows. Almost on you guys. If the Canadian athletes beat the NFL All-Star athletes, which would never happen, obviously, it'd be the biggest upset in sport history. And these players are going to be so famous in Canada, and the league will be so much more popular. That's why I'm a genius. Never going to happen, but I mean, if they got lucky, then they'd be the most famous. They'd be a lot more famous in Canada. It'd be a bigger sport upset than even the Soviets. The Soviets, well, no, it's just as big, right? The Soviets were the best hockey team in the world. They even beat the NHL All-Stars. They were a fucking amazing team, and these college kids beat them. Obviously, the committee will laugh me off. Are you fucking crazy, man? We're gonna get embarrassed on television. That put them through better training and better coaching and motivation and team chemistry, like Herb Brooks did, and they might be able to hold their own better against the NFL All-Star guys. I know we get destroyed, but at least you got to market them for the Canadians to see. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. All you have to go is, man, you're crazy. But man, that marketing strategy might actually work. Yeah, even though we get destroyed, more people kind of will do it, and that's how they become more famous. Yes, I'm a genius. That's how you market it. I'm a genius, also. All the GM coach, Ivan, you're crazy, man. They would wipe the floor with our best Canadians. I know. At least, but if they can hold their own pretty well against them, all the millions of people in Canada tuning in, now these Canadian All-Star athletes are more famous, and you just boosted the value of your league. It's more eyes are on your product, and that's how you grow the brand. I'm a genius. You're a genius. I know. Sarah. Because if you do CFL All-Stars versus NFL All-Stars, and it's all these American guys who play in the CFL versus the American guys in the States, no one will really care that much because those guys are from the States. So it's weird. and they're what? Like they'll be more hype with the best Canadian players versus the best players in America. I'm sorry. You want a 5 game series? Yeah, 5 game series, but it's played in Canada because you need to market the Canadian players in Canada. Air it on TSN, have it take place in Vancouver. The BC Lions has the nicest stadium in the league. Have it there, and then I'm saying market it, and I mean, we'll have a sell stadium. Yeah, we'll have a sell stadium, and all the Canadian fans will be rooting for the Canadians. That's been crazy, man. That's how you build buzz, and then you have the TSN on TSN panel talk about it. A lot of channels will be talking about it, and people even in America will be talking about that game too. Like, who the fuck does this commissioner even think he is? He wants our best NFL athletes against his CFL Canadian athletes. Is he crazy? We're gonna destroy those guys, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And the Canadian athletes, even though they know they're gonna get destroyed, they're gonna be very motivated and pumped up, like Herb Brooks. You know what I'm saying? In Miracle, like for those of you guys who saw the movie, yeah. It's like Team USA versus Soviets, pretty much. That's pretty much how crazy it is. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. I know. We'll have crazy buzz. That's how you grow the league. I'm your genius. I know. Yeah. With all the NFL guys, yeah, all the NFL guys, like, man, they want our best All-Star players against the best All-Star players in Canada. We're gonna destroy those Canadian guys. Yeah. We're going to wipe the floor with them. Yeah, they most likely will. But do not underestimate the Canadian talent. That's all I'm going to say. Like, do not underestimate the Canadian talent. All I am saying, yeah. So, Ivan, that's your business strategy? Yes. Ivan, that might actually work. Even if we get beat pretty bad, we got to market the Canadian All-Star players to the Canadian people who are tuning in TSN. Yes, and that's how the league gets more popular. Yes, I mean that's a good business strategy, but no, we can't do that. We're strict. No, okay, if you don't do this, CFL committee, I'm stepping down as CFL commissioner. I can't find any other way for you. Ivan, we can do like CFL versus NFL. Guys, it won't make a difference, man. People can't only care about how much money these American guys, man. So you want American players who represent Canada. We don't have to do Team Canada. We just do CFL versus NFL All Stars. Yeah, but like it's American players who are mostly All Stars in the CFL, and they're rejects from the NFL versus the best players in the NFL. I mean, that won't really build that much buzz. A lot of people tune into that, but they won't care as much. Whereas if you have when you have Team Canada, the best Canadian players, they care more because they're Canadian homegrown talent. The Canadians love the Canadian players more than the American players. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, yeah. Does Nathan Rook stand a chance against Patrick Mahomes? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's crazy, Buzzman. Yeah. And UCFL, you have to choose the best coaches. The best coaches. The best coaches in the league. Who do you think is the best head coach in the league to head Team Canada? Who do you think is the best defensive coordinator? You have to come up with all your coaches for that team, for Team Canada team. All the best coaches in the CFL, you gotta choose which one's the best one to be the head coach, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, QB coach, running backs coach, linebackers coach. You know what I'm saying? O-line coach, assistant coach, and you have the same thing for the American players playing in the NFL. And the NFL will accept you. We'll gladly pay you. We'll gladly play your best Canadian players. Good luck. Yeah, they'll tell me good luck. Good luck, Ivan. You want it in America or Canada? Canada, guys. You guys are already popular in the States. Playing in America won't really make a difference. It's important. We have to play it in Canada because we're trying to grow the league in Canada. I want the game taking place in Canada. Okay, Ivan. You have to tell them what they know. I want the game taking place in Canada, guys, and TSN will air it. Obviously. Ivan, you want to pay the players for it? Yeah, pay the players for it too. The NFL athletes get paid. CFL athletes get paid for it. For a 5-game series, you can pay them a good, I don't know, $16,000 for the game. That's good money for the Canadians. And the Canadians need the money more than the Americans. The Americans are multi-millionaires, they make a little more money, but I mean, that's how you make it work. So I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry? Yeah. Because Ivan, you're a genius, man. That could actually work. Like the CFL league can grow. I know. That's how you grow it in 10 years. You're a genius. I know. I'm a genius. I'm a genius. Biggest sporting event in history. If that game took place, it'd be the biggest sporting event in history, and that's how these Canadian players become more famous, guys, and the popularity grows. And I'm doing. You're a genius. I know. Yeah. But the NFL would want to air it in the States too. So yeah, you guys can bring your camera guys here. You can air it on, I don't know, your ESPN thing, whatever it is in America, your NBC for the NFL, for the Americans. But for the Canadians, we air it on TSN. Obviously. Because they're gonna want, yeah, the people in America want to see this game. Yeah, you can bring your camera guys, they can air it for America, and TSN airs it for the people of Canada. It's all about the people of Canada, CFL. It's about growing the Canadian football brand in Canada. The Americans don't care about our CFL. That's why I don't want the game to take place here. It takes place here in Canada, obviously. And the Canadians need that home field advantage to stand a chance at holding their own with these amazing all-stars. To stand a chance at holding their own against these guys, they need some boost in support, right, from the Canadian fans, obviously. You're a genius, I know. You're a genius business strategist. I am. I'm a genius. I know what I'm doing. Sorry. That's how you grow the league. You're a genius, I know. That's how you grow the league. That's how you grow the league. I'm sorry. So you want our CFL? Yeah, I want Milt Stiegel, Enoch Mwamba, Jim Barker, the XGM. I want them talking about this game. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, everyone around the world saying that the best Canadian players are gonna get embarrassed on the field. Do these guys even stand a chance or hold their own against these guys? They talk about it, and that builds buzz for the Canadian fans. And all the fans who go to the stadium are going to be rooting for their Canadians, and they're going to support them. And you air on TSN, you're looking at probably millions of people tuning into that, and that's how these Canadian players become more famous, more popular, and that's how you grow the league. I'm your genius, I know. And they'll respect these Canadian players more that they won against the Giants, the NFL fucking All-Stars, best players in the NFL. Yeah. Some Sarah. All you GMs goes, Ivan, man, you're crazy, man. You actually want to have that game take place? Yes. Ivan, are you crazy, man? They're gonna get embarrassed on the field. I know, but at least we got to market them. I do not underestimate the Canadian talent, guys. As I told you, our team Canada beat Team USA. Like, it was the best players in Canada U18 versus the best players in America U18, and our Team Canada beat them pretty bad, like 41, like 23 or something like that. We beat them. The first time they got destroyed when my older stepbrother played. They got beat like 41-3. It was embarrassing. And that's 3 years later, our Team Canada came back and beat them. And Team Japan U20 beat Team USA U20. I'm not lying, guys. I saw the clip. Team Japan beat Team USA U20. Like last year, they played at the IAF, whatever it's called, World Championship. They beat your Team USA guys. I'm not lying, guys. Team Japan beat your Team USA. I'm not lying, guys. And they almost beat our Team Canada. Do not underestimate the Japanese football players. The Japanese football players are actually they're third place, third best football players in the world. The Japanese football players are amazing football players, man. They almost beat our Team Canada. They were winning at one point, and then we came back and we beat them, and then we got killed by Team USA like 41-3. Then 3 years later, our Team Canada beat Team USA. We beat Team USA, man. I'm not lying. We beat them. We beat you guys. And Japan beat you guys too. Do not underestimate the Canadian talent. Do not underestimate the Japanese talent. That's all I'm going to say, right? Yeah. So that would be the real key of growing the CFL football, the Canadian Football League. Anyways, I'm signing off. Peace. Hope you guys enjoy my CFL show. Peace out, guys. Hope you guys enjoy this show. Peace out.